think most of the young people in Vietnam right now is the second generation. My parents, the older generation, have to work so hard, and they have some money, they have assets. So our second generation, I don't think the younger people right now they don't have to think much about getting the money or getting a job.
Is that so?
I think so. I think so.
Really? I'm here with Andy, from Think Prom. It would be nice, like, if you could explain on your background, how you ended up becoming an entrepreneur, and maybe also some stories on being in Japan, how you ended up in Japan too.
And also in 2010, I got a scholarship from the Canada University in Japan. I didn't prepare that much, but I got a scholarship, so I just decided as a part of a journey or adventure. So I decided to move to Japan. So I take my master and PhD AI there, and from 2015, I went to Tokyo and I worked for corporation for 4 and 5 years. And then I decided that I really want to do something different. So I decided to let everything. I'm going back to Vietnam. And when I'm going back to Vietnam, I joined my first startup. I joined Logivan. Logivan is a tech logistic company, kind of a Uber but for trucking. And we raised about 9 million, but I left the company after 1 year. So together with Kevin, I built a postcard platform. But after 6 months, we realized that it's not really good at happening for postcard. And after that, I built my first, from 2020, built my first own startup named Triple S Markets. It's kind of the second-hand marketplace. We got around 1.5 million views, and I don't think e-commerce is really easy yet. And I want to do something in tech. So I found my next startup, this current one named Think Prom. I really do want to do something integrated. So basically the translation take a lot of time. Like if you have to translate 100 page of slide, take you several days to do that. Now with my software, it should take just a few minutes, and it's perfectly can be used.
Wow. So how is it? Many people use ChatGPT or DeepL for translation.
Yeah.
How is it different to it?
I think it's a little bit different because we support more English, it's easier to use. So for most of the ChatGPT and even for DeepL, they focus on something to text, text to text translation, while we want to aim to the end user. So we aim to something ready to use. And you just upload the file, you got the file exactly with the format ready to use. You don't have to change anything. If you want to do the traditional translation, for one page, it took you around 30 or 60 minutes to translate just one page manually. You have to, if you hire someone, it takes you from $10 to $20 for just a single page. But for our tool, since AI is pretty cheap and fast, so the people love it so much right now. Our top user translate around 200 documents in just a week. Yes. And I will 5% of our users spend more than $100 on our platform.
How do I get in this website and use it?
The name is doctranslate.io.
Why did you want to?
I want to make value.
Okay.
Yeah. I have a lot of crazy ideas. I just want to build a company to when I make all the crazy ideas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are many people like this in Vietnam? Or?
I'm not sure. I think it really depends on so for example, when you think about a country, for example, if you are going to Japan, if the people have an idea, maybe they can think about the marketplace, but there's not so much marketplace in Japan. And I think that the women in Japan have a lot of free time because a lot of them stay home, not going to work. So I think marketplace is a good idea. So let's think about Vietnam. Vietnam is quite a beautiful country. So it means that it have a very good street food.
Street food?
Yeah. So when thinking about, hey, I want to do something good, different, most of people will think about opening a coffee shop. or restaurant. Yeah, because they have some idea different because they can have like a new food or something like that. So going back to US, the people will want to do a startup. They might think about the technology. So different country, different mindsets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think most of the young people in Vietnam right now is the second generation. My parents or the older generation have to work so hard, and they have some money, they have assets. So our second generation, I don't think the younger people right now they don't have to think much about getting the money or getting a job.
Is that so?
I think so.
Really?
They have so many choices. For example, in my generations, I don't have much choice. It's very similar to Japan. You have to get a job, otherwise you will be out of the society.
No.
Yeah, but I think when I try, because I'm a business owner, I have to do the interview with a lot of young people. I think they have so much choice right now because the family keeps supporting them. In Japan, it's pretty hard for you that person. You join a university. After 2 or 3 years, you think that hey, this doesn't suit me, and you change university. It's pretty hard to do that in Japan, right?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people in Vietnam doing that. So they have so much support from the family, to help them to start something. So that is pretty good for the young people in Vietnam because if they want to do something different, they want to get experience, and they have support from the family. I think in Japan and the first generation of the people in Vietnam is going to have that choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you feel like a difference between Japan and Vietnam?
I think it's very different because when I was in Japan, everyone in the third year need to file a 90, third or fourth year need to file a 90. Maybe you can think about getting a master, but it's not really a choice for the Japanese people. Right? In Vietnam, I don't think that much. I think the people in the third year, the fourth year, they have so many options. Some people are trying to do an internship to get more working experience. Some people are trying to open a small business like a coffee shop, restaurant. In Vietnam, the e-commerce is going pretty fast, so you can create an online business. There are so many choices for people, even that they can become a KOLs in the social network. Yeah. So I think the young people in Vietnam have so many choices.
Okay, and they're, I guess, pretty open to entrepreneurship. Pretty common.
No, it is very different. You have a small business, doesn't mean you are an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is so much harder.
Yeah.
It's really so much harder. So if you want to ready to build a startup, you need a vision, you need a mission, and then you have to think about do you have money, do you have a network, and do you have an experience to make it. So it's definitely much harder than just open a small business.
For sure.
But if you are a startup, you definitely need like hundreds of thousands or millions the users or your customer, and that's a whole different story.
I see.
For startup, not only the cash flow, you only have to think about the growth. That's 100% different with the SME.
So do you think, as in startups, do you think in Vietnam the startup ecosystem is developing? Or?
I think it's very difficult to build a true startup in Vietnam. I think I'm lucky because I have a network that has not only from Vietnam. For example, my Kevin friend is American. Yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, Kevin he's American, he's not Vietnamese. So as I said before, you want to build a startup, you need, beside the mission and the vision, you need, your capital. Yeah. You need the network and you need the knowledge. So let's say that the first one, the capital, is really difficult because there are not so many big funds in Vietnam. And, funding in Vietnam I think that's a lot harder compared to Singapore and US. That's the first thing. So the capital is definitely harder than all countries. For the second thing, for the network, I think that the network, since the startup or entrepreneur in Vietnam is still in a very early stage, I think that you don't have a very big network in Vietnam. So if you want to find, for example, a co-founder, angel investor, or someone to support you, I think it's pretty difficult.
Yes.
And the third one is very important. That's in the knowledge. Usually, people only get the knowledge about the entrepreneurship if they join a startup.
Yeah.
I mean, the good startup. But because I said about the capital and the network, there's not so much good startup in Vietnam. Yeah, and not. Yeah, so it made it very hard to get experience in the startup.
Yes.
Like if you want to have good researcher in AI, you need very good university, right? Yeah, in AI. So it means that if you want to have a good entrepreneur, you need a good startup that the people get out from that. They not really have that.
So I mean, in the sense of talent, it's difficult. Yeah. And, so how did you actually get the network and find your American co-founder?
I think I just very active in the social network and LinkedIn.
Oh, so you're just contacting people on LinkedIn, or is it?
Yeah, I think something like that.
How did you meet him and Tom?
By LinkedIn. Because at that time he's looking for co-founder or CDO.
Is he based here? Or?
Yeah, I think he's travel a lot right now.
And you told me about how Vietnamese founders go to Singapore
To be a startup.
Yeah, to be a startup.
Usually most of Vietnam entrepreneurs go into Singapore and incorporate a company there, but still they are running the company in Vietnam. The reason is very simple, because if you have a company in Singapore, you can approach the bigger VC, better VC.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that incorporation company in US or Singapore is not that difficult. Yeah, so that's why most of the people, real entrepreneurs, want to build an incorporated company in Singapore.
I see.
And most of the startup need an entity in Singapore to get funding.
I was just wondering because some entrepreneurs from Japan are here too.
A lot. Yeah. I think that Japan is changing. Not really fast, but they are changing. And a lot of young people start thinking about the entrepreneur.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think so. So they can, and I think I have a few friends. They said that even that they don't have to start with the entrepreneurship, but they want to really see an open world, so they travel a lot. And when they travel to the country, especially in sea like Vietnam or Indo or Thailand, they found that if they really want to have an open world, I think that most of them decide to stay in Vietnam, Japan, and build something there. I think young people from Japan come to Vietnam is not so much. Before that, I know in Korea people. A few years ago, there's a lot of people, young people that go into Vietnam and build another company. So I think that this is time that Japanese young people start explore Vietnam, exploring Vietnam.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think would be a hot space for entrepreneurship in Vietnam?
I think it really depends on different stage. For example, if you think about technology, I think that Vietnam have a very if you want to develop software, Vietnam is pretty cheap. But if you want to go to the high tech, you are lacking of the talents in Vietnam. Very different, right? And if you want to build something different, like for example, you should have a very cool idea about a dream. So, and you are going to succeed with it. It's just 1 month later, everyone copy you. And if you have an idea about very cool product, so in the US, you get a partner, you go to the market, and you are going to dominate the market. With that, because there's no competition. If you are just building some kind of simple product, I mean food, things they're easy to get copy from the Chinese or even with other people, and there's lacking of laws or mechanism to protect you from that.
In Vietnam, okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, close to wrapping up, but it will be nice if we could know more about what your interest would be and connecting with Japanese people.
You know about DeepL? But actually, most of the people don't know about the DeepL. So I was a little bit surprised that in Japan the DeepL is very famous.
It is.
Yeah, and I was checking that in Japan the translation is very popular. So I'm definitely to want to get to connect to put my foot into the Japan market. So getting some capital from Japan is good.
So definitely,
Now for the product.
thank you so much, Andy.
Yeah.
Very nice having you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.